Yeah, only 30 students out of 90. I'll give you another 5 minutes. Please ask your friends to log in. I hope you all have the meeting invite. I just don't want to send it again within my WhatsApp. Yes? Someone reply. Okay. I'll give another 5 minutes. 2:10 sharp, we will start the class. Okay? Okay, guys. Why the strength is so less today? Yeah? So, shall I start with your session or shall I start with my session? Yes. Reply. Yeah, no one is there in the class? Guys, am I audible? Now I will start asking questions one by one to each of the students. Start with mine so that you can be aram se sleep. Okay. Like what your friend says, let me start with my session, then I'll catch hold of you people. Fine. Okay, guys. We finished with unit testing. Let's start with what is component testing. What is actually a component? Software components are often composite components that are made up of several interacting objects. So here it is made up of different objects or interactive objects, or I can say rather than objects, you can say subcomponents. Like the example what they have given is in weather station system. The reconfiguration component includes objects that deal with each aspect of reconfiguration. Also, it has different sensors, right? So maybe the different sensor form each of a subcomponent within the get result or get weather data, get weather data kind of something. So what happens is in software component testing, we usually check or test interacting objects. See, what is a major thing what happens when we are working in a team? Yeah, it is the communication problem with the different members of the team. Do you agree? How we communicate? If I say something, they will be getting into something else, understand something else. The other problem is there is no communication at all, like that, right? Whenever there is interaction between different components or different people, naturally there will be different types of issues or problems. So this applies in the software terms also. It has always been observed that when a project consists of different modules and different modules are interacting with one another, those during those interactions the errors will be more. Why and what are the types of errors which we see during these cases? We will see that in the coming slide. So you access the functionality of these objects through defined components interface. See, let's say for example there are two components. Okay, let's for example we will take your database system wherein we have a you log into your mail. Okay, in the mail there is two components. One is the GUI component, the other is your backend, which actually process your UI data. Okay. Now, let's say for example, from a UI component, I enter the username and password. This is updated within my database component where it is actually stored. This is what we do it, right? I hope you all are clear with the simple mail systems. How do we use our mails? You all know or you don't know? If you have a web page, How do you log in into your Google account? You give your username, password, and click on the login button. Agreed? Actually, the net is slow. Otherwise, I could have. So, maybe for your understanding. So, this is my UI component. Agreed? And this is my backend or database component. I'll say DB. Okay. Now, here you have two text boxes, one for username and one for what is it, password, and a button. So when you give the data here, all this data is sent to my database. What does it do? It will check whether the data exists within the whatever username you have typed here, whether it exists within the database. It will check. If it exists, it will what see whether the it is a valid password associated with the username, and then say valid username or password and take you to the home page. Yes, so now I have two components interacting here. Ma'am, when we say yes individually, in the last class I told you how do we test. Do you remember what test cases I gave you in the last class? Yes, a valid username, invalid username, proper username, pass or fail, that I taught you, right? Now, that is unit testing. When I'm doing component testing, I know if I give a valid username and password, it will work or not. I have tested. In component testing, what I'm trying to see is whether this is a simple case here, whether the data I'm passing here, how this UI module interacts with my database module is correct or not. Suppose this method login calls a method called, maybe I will say this is a method by name login, which is there within this module, and this takes only username or password, whatever it is. So whatever data it takes, whether the my function, this login button which is clicked, so I can say this login button will call this function login. This login function here will take two strings. So in component testing, what we are trying to do is whether when I click this button, will it call the proper method. So when I click this, if it calls the proper method login, then yes, it is a proper interface between this module and this. Next, there may be a problem that here when I click login username and password, I'm passing the data right here. Suppose it is different from what it is being accepted there. So here I'm taking a, suppose I'm passing only what can I say, rather than a string, a integer value for password, but here it is taking a string value. Will it work? No, right? So basically my component testing will check when there are multiple components, they are the interaction between these components or the objects within these components is proper or not. Did you get it? You want me to explain again? Please imagine the scenario. Last class, what I explained to you was when I give this username and password, whether it is correct, I check. That is unit testing. In component testing, I will check whether a particular object, when it interacts with other objects in the database, whether it works properly or not. Any doubts, guys? Okay. So testing composite component should therefore focus on that component interfaces behaves according to the specification. You can assumes that unit tests on the individual objects within the component have been completed. So basically what we are checking is within the individual unit tests within this component testing can be done only after doing the unit testing. That is, here, in order to check the component testing between these two components, first I have should check whether these individual components have been tested properly using unit testing. Only when it is done, then it can go to the further testing, that is component testing. Can someone say why? Why I should do first unit testing and then go to component testing? So Aditya, come on, respond to my question. No doubts, right? Why do we do unit testing first and then go to component testing? Guys, are you sleeping? See, if I don't do unit testing first, what happens is, let's say it is accepting username and password through the text box. Let's say that functionality is only not working properly. What is the use of going with doing the component testing between these two components when I already. Yes, yes, Lavanya. Component depend upon unit and its main cause. So then what happens is, later you finish component testing and then you see that your problems within this code, that is, yes, the interaction is fine, you have tested fine, this is working properly, this calls proper method. Let's say after that I try to test this UI component, and there is an error while accepting this and this value, and when there is an error I change this login method here. Now, if there is a change here, naturally the way in which it interacts with the other module also changes, might change. Again, you have to do component testing again. It will be a repetition of job. That's the reason first we have to do unit testing and then take up a component testing. Okay. So we have something known as interfacing here, interface testing. Now we write test cases for different modules here within, suppose, let's say these are the three modules here or components A, B and C. The way in which they are interacting is given by this arrow marks. So interface testing means I write test cases for each of the module, the way in which it interacts with the other module. Fine. So in interface testing, objectives are to detect faults due to interface errors or invalid assumptions about the interfaces. Now, what do I mean by these invalid assumptions or interface errors? Parameter interfaces. Now, this is one of the most common type of interface error what we observe. Now, the method what I'm trying to call takes some parameters. But what I'm passing is different. Then you will get an error, right? In C, can you tell what is the type of the error do you get during those cases? You are passing string, but the method is taking an integer. You get an error within your C compiler. What is the name of that error? If you have done coding, then you will remember this error very well. Yes, Aditya. Good. Yeah, don't remember. Oh, you didn't do your C programming lab only, right? Last semester. Wow. Type mismatch. Have you observed that error if you're typing? So I can't ask you about any errors because you have not done any program execution in your second semester. So whenever it is like we should think in our minds, you have done, yeah, virtually, right? God, I don't know what software engineers you will be already in your third semester. You have not even executed a program. Okay, it is called. No, sir. It is. Yeah, I know. See, if you have done programming to the core extent, you will remember what will that message also be. It is. You will get something known as type mismatch error. Okay. So when you are trying to call a method whose parameter does not match with the actual method, so that kinds of error is parameter interfaces. Then something known as shared memory. Shared memory interfaces. It is a block of memory shared between procedures and functions. See, this is one of the most important kinds of errors or interface testing we will do. Let's say, for example, when you're doing a networking project or you're doing some projects, web based project also, you're accessing data from a remote site. Fine, but a shared data, right? But whenever you are accessing that data, it is correct. You will always be accessing the correct data, right? If, let's say, for example, you are sending a message, your chat things. See, if you send a message, it will go. If you send, let's say, for example, five or six messages together, one after the other, will that those messages gets corrupted or will it go in different order? No, right? It will go in the same order as you sent. Fine. Why? Because it will be show that all these messages will be stored or sent. The network access will be done so properly, and it will be accessed in a particular manner. But not only that, a shared memory concept comes into picture wherein multiple processes are sharing the same type of data or files. So the shared memory comes into picture when multiple processes or are accessing to trying to access the procedure or functions. One second, guys. Okay, sorry. So what happens is in shared memory, there are multiple processes, or maybe I'll go to this same picture because you would not have that very much. Okay. When I say what do I mean by shared process means shared memory means let's say within this database there is a file. Okay. And what does this file contain? This file contains the list of usernames and a particular password associated with that username. Let's say all your Gmail ID, most of the times it will be encrypted. Fine, I agree with you all. So the encrypted username and password is placed within this file. Let's say, for example, there are will only one person be you accessing that username and password? No, right? There will be multiple UIs or multiple people who will be trying to log in, and all those multiple peoples will try to access the same file. Are you getting my point? So this one tries to access it, fine, and this one. Now, when when three people are trying to access the same username and password, does it happen that you will get some other's password or incorrect password of someone else? Is it possible like that? 1 second. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. No, ma'am, this is not mine. So when they are so all these people are trying to. Does it happen sometime when you are accessing some username, you get someone else's password? No, right? Every time you are trying to username and password, if you are given valid, then it will log in, right? There is no way that it will get some other data. And let's say, for example, you log in. After login, is it happen that you're seeing someone else's mail box rather than yours? Yeah, no, right? It will always fetch you the right type of data for that user. So whenever we are accessing shared memory or we are accessing any data from different components, so this interface error should the interface testing should take care of whether we are accessing the right of right type of data when there are multiple users who are accessing the same data there. And we should not accidentally we should also check that we don't change anything. Suppose if I change here in this slide itself, suppose this particular user is changing his password and username, no way he should be able to edit someone's data in the same file, right? So all this kind of testing or managing the shared data is done, or testing the shared data is done within interface testing. Then we do procedural interfaces, that is subsystem encapsulates a set of procedures to be called by the other subsystems. So whether that procedure or subsystem has, see there can be multiple levels in the sense, here I have three components and within that component I can have multiple components which is calling, yeah, they're subcomponents. Fine. And next, we have something known as message passing. We request services from the other system, and the order in which the requests have been made, and the way in which you get responses. That is done in message passing testing. Fine. Any doubts, students? You can ask me in any of these four. Okay, then let's go. Interface errors, interface misviews. I think you can read this. Nothing much I can explain. The general concept of how this works, I've already told you. Okay, the first one is interface misuse. Calling component calls another component and makes an error in its use of its interface. Parameters are wrong, or it is calling a different method rather than the one. And sometimes it can also be something like you don't have access to that method. Okay, and you're trying to call it that object. This is possible in object oriented programming, where you don't have access to certain methods, but due to security feature, but you try to access it. That is nothing but interface misuse. Then you have interface misunderstanding. A calling component embeds assumptions about behavior of the called component which are incorrect. So this is basically, yes, you have called the right method. Parameters are correct. The name of the function, what you're calling, is correct. But what function is expected? It is not that. I mean, what it does is different. And what you are expecting is different, maybe because you don't know, or let's say for example, you have asked your friend to draw some picture, and you will use that method to show yourself, use or call that method to finish your job. What happens if whatever he is done is wrong or not as expected as what you wanted? So that is nothing but interface misunderstanding. It may be deliberate, or it may be because the other person does not know. Then you have something known as timing errors. Timing errors means the what can we say, the calling components and the call components, they don't perform in sync. Okay, there is a difference in the speed of calling a different components, and the way in which you get the responses. And before you get a response, you will be calling different other methods, so that will result in timing errors. Fine. So interface testing guidelines, these are the ones. Design tests so that parameters to a called procedure are at the extreme ends of these range. See, whenever you are passing parameters to a function, just passing a proper one, correct one, like we did in partition testing, okay? Used to call one in the middle and the one in the boundaries, right? Similarly, here in interface, the parameters you can pass the ones in the normal parameters and the others in the extreme ends, and check how it works. Always test pointer parameters with null pointers, okay? So we will check whether whenever you're passing pointers to a function, we always have to be, when you are careful when we are testing pointers, because it can be a null pointer, or it may be referring to some other parameters or something, some other memory location. So pointer testing should be done carefully. Design tests which cause the component to fail. See, always the job of the tester is to find as many tests as possible. I'll tell you, there, see, uh, maybe in the proper sense, if they, if a particular tester says, I identified so and so bugs, and it means it will, that is how we say how efficient is he is. And I will tell you, based on that, it is how they will get their salary hike or appraisals. they will boost like, see, I found such a bug in this product, it may have done so and so failure or something like this. So most of the time, the what do the testers do is, they will try to make it a point that they break the system. Fine. So we need not have to tell it. That is how they do. Use stress testing in message passing systems. Can someone say what do you mean by stress testing? Now, I want all of you, those who are sleeping, wake up and find what does stress testing means. I'll give you 2 minutes and you have to answer my question. Anyone within the student list, I will ask. So I want you to find out what does stress testing means. The word itself says what does it mean, but I want you to look into it if you don't know. If you know, it is well and fine. I'll ask you the question. I'll give you 2 minutes. If you don't know, Google it and find. Okay, fine. All correct answers. Only you could understand what does it mean, or you just copying and you're pasting? Okay. All of you understood? See, it is basically trying to test the system with overloaded messages or overloaded data, and understanding whether the system fails or works properly during those instances. In shared memory system, vary the order in which. Okay. Yes. Maybe I can give an example for load testing, stress testing. I'm not getting. Maybe this also you can take it as one thing. Let's say, for example, the we are testing a web page. Okay, we will sometimes see whether the system can take so many users, right? Like. For your example, your VTU website, whenever the results nowadays, it is not a problem. But earlier, what used to happen is, as soon as the results have come on the website, the system would crash. Fine. The reason is because the system was not tested properly for stress or load, we say, right? So that is one thing while we should take into picture while doing interface testing. Fine. In shared memory system, vary the order in which components are activated. So this is like who accesses which type of memory, and so that none of the others will access it. So we take care of it. Anyone who did not understand stress testing? System testing during development involves integrating components. Next, we'll go to system testing. What does systems testing means? Here, during development involves integrating components. Here, we integrate components to create a version of the system and then testing the integrated system. The focus in system testing is testing the interactions between the components. Testing checks the components are compatible, interact correctly, transfer the right data at the time different time sequences. System testing tests the emergent behavior of the system. See, basically, it is an extension of the component testing. In component testing, you tested only between two components within a system or between the system. In system testing, it involves testing all the components together. When it is integrated, it maybe involves testing each of a like complete set of components. I will give you an example here. One way of system testing, one type of doing is use case testing. See, what are use cases? I'll give this diagram and explain. See, here is a way, a use case which describes the collecting the weather data, right? And you have already learnt in use case diagram. You send a request to the satellite communication component, then it receives an it sends an acknowledgement towards the this actor. Then here, this SATCOM sends again a request to weather station. The weather station sends a request to comms link, and this comms link sends it to summarize. Agreed? Again, the response comes like this. Now, while I am doing component testing or unit testing, I would have checked only summarize function. When I'm doing component testing, maybe from comms link, I would have checked whether the summarize function is working. But in system testing, I will check the complete use case starting from the weather information system where it's when it sends a request and until I get a reply and send an acknowledgement back. Did you understand now? See, in system testing involves testing the entire system or the functionality. So, one functionality is something known as getting the weather, collecting the weather data, which involves sequence of interactions between different components. Here, if you see, it involves four components interacting with one another and getting the result from there. So this kind of testing is known as a system testing, and system testing is always done based into or keep by keeping track of all your okay. So if you have around 4 or 5 use cases or 10 use cases, each of this use case when you test it becomes a system testing. Apart from that also, you might have different testing scenarios or cases which you need to test. Did you understand, guys? What is system testing? See, now also, if you are getting confused, checking only summarize function is unit testing. If I want to check summarize works with get summary gets the summary, this function here, then I will use component testing because this component here, weather station, interacts with comlink. Okay, which in turn interacts with this and gets. So that is component testing. System testing means the entire sequence of actions starting from first state till you get a reply, that is known as system testing. You are testing a system functionality there. Any doubts, students? I want you to go through this slide and two slides, the same thing what I explained. Any doubts? Okay. Another thing in system testing is, please read this point. See, another thing what is important for system testing is, there will be a number of reusable components which you have used in your newly development system. Let's say, for example, there are around 5 components in my new software to be developed. Okay, and what happens is, in out of those 5 components, two of the components is readily available in the sense someone has already developed it, and I am using that one. Okay, so when the final integration is done, we would have integrated whatever components we as a software developer has developed, and then the reusable components which we got from somewhere. Most of the times it will be problem that they are not integrated properly. See, the code which is being developed by someone else and you are using it, there will be so many things which you would have not checked. So in order to see that the complete system works properly, system testing is used. See, you borrow, let's say for dressing up only, girls or boys, you borrow one, you borrow, suppose you are going for a function or something, you borrow dress from someone, you borrow shoe from someone. Simply, will you wear it? Won't you check whether the dress and the shoe match properly? Yeah, so that is how this system testing will be like. Once you're using a reusable component along with your newly development system, it needs to be checked whether it works properly as a whole. So where do we check it? We check it within system testing. And the other importance is, each of the component will be developed by people at different by different teams. Not only teams with people working in different geographical locations, by different companies and all. Suppose if you are working with a company like IoT based company or something like that, if you are involved in software development, there will be some company which will come up with the electronic goods or the sensors for that, and some company which will come with the mechanical design and the product design. Okay, so when the components of a system are developed by different teams, then chances of the system failing during interface testing are very high. So system testing should check all those things so that the overall system will work properly. Fine. So this use case thing I've already explained. Any doubts, guys? So there are some testing policies. Exhaustive system testing is impossible. So testing policies which define the required system test coverage may be developed. Sometimes testing the entire system, yes, it is possible, but the amount of time constraint will be more. And what happens is, during the release time, you want to release a product very soon to the market. Reason being is, you already know that there is a competitor who is already released or is about to release. So you want to get the market share of those products. That is when these all problems starts. What we do is, even though we cannot do, we try to do as much possible or as fast as possible. Okay. So what are the testing policies? All system functions that are accessed through menus should be tested. Combinations of functions that are accessed through the same menu should be tested. User input is provided and all function must be tested with correct and incorrect input. See, do testing with both the correct data and incorrect data. Combination of the functions. You give a combination of data and test, and see, when you see a menu, like let's say there are four options for a menu, you will be testing all the four menu options. Okay, so these are the testing policies. Hmm. Next topic what we have is test driven development. Do you want me to start this topic today? Because the strength is very less. Maybe next Wednesday I will complete this, because if I do one class Wednesday, I think I'll finish my entire portions, for the entire portions, in the sense portions for the second internals. So by then, I hope you all received the assignment questions. Yes, guys, or no? What do you want to tell? Okay. Let me first take the attendance. Answer your attendance. USN 1, 2, okay, 5,
7 present, ma'am.
1 second, sir. 5 is absent. 6 is present.
7 present, ma'am.
Okay, pa. Okay, fine. Aditya 7 present. 8 present. 9 is present. 10 is present. 11 is present. 12. 13. 14. 15 is present. 16. 17. 18. 19. 18 is present. Okay. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 is present, 36, Sankirtana. Okay, 38, 39, 40, 40, 41, 42, Fabian, 43, 44, 45, 46, 7, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57.
53 present, ma'am.
Okay. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 60, 61 is present, 62 is present, 63, 64 is present, 65, 66, 67, 67, 68, 69, 70. Okay, Pa Kamal. 71, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, Mahesh Yadav. 76, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 87, Nagendra, 89, 90. Okay, 5, 14. Those who are logging out, tell them I will take attendance again. 53. Okay, 41. 51. Okay. Okay. Now, whose turn is it to give the presentation today? Fast. Start. I think two people who missed in the previous class. Are you ready? I think Darshan and who was the other girl? Darshan is absent today. I told till USN 60, right? So Ganesh is present. Yes, Darshan. Will you give it today? Ganesh is done till Pranati I finished. Sudhir and Gaurav Maurya were absent. Okay, Pa. Wait, I will stop presenting. Good, Darshan. You can start. Take the control.
ಕುಕ್ಕರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, Pa. Visible, Darshan.
Hello everyone. I've chosen the topic interaction model. Interaction model plays an important role in the software engineering. It has three types: user interaction, system interaction, and component interaction models. User interaction involves user inputs and outputs, which helps to identify the understand the user requirements. And modeling system interactions. It involves the interaction between system being developed and the other system, which helps to understand the communication problems which may arise between the system. And modeling system interaction. It is interaction between the components of the system. It helps to understand the system performance and dependability. Types of approach of interaction models are use case diagram and sequence diagrams, use case modeling and sequence modeling. Use case modeling. It is a simple representation which in which use case is written in ellipse, and actors involved in use case are represented as a person stick or some sticks. It it gives a it is the simplest form of interaction which it is the simplest form. A use case is shown in ellipse. In figure, we can see that the actors involved in the task of transferring the data are medical receptionist and the patient record system. The task involved is transfer of data. Here, the arrow mark indicates that information is transferred from medical receptionist to patient record system. Usually, okay. Next. As it is a simplest representation, we need to give the description of the task involved, as it is not enough information is provided in the diagram, or else we can represent using the sequence diagram also. A small description is given. Some of the other examples of use case diagrams are uh, user can search in a database, update record in a database, add record, remove record in a database, and student and the teacher interactions. Sequence diagram. It shows the sequence of interaction that takes place during a particular use case. In sequence diagram, actors are and the classes are listed on the top along the top, and dotted lines drawn vertically from those. An interaction between the actors are shown by the arrows, and rectangle of dotted line indicates the lifeline of the object. In the figure, firstly, medical receptionist triggers to view the patient's information by giving patient ID, which is a PID, from the database. The instance P calls the database applying receptionist identifier. The instant P called the database provides medical receptionist identifier ID, and if she is an authenticate user, then only it give permission to view the patient information and sends the data back to the medical receptionist. If she is not a authorized user, it shows the error messages are displayed. And some other example of sequence diagrams of a student viewing a marks or grades in an VT website or anything. Here, first student logins, clicks logins with his username and password. If he is a validate user, then the uh, then the authorized user, then the grades are displayed at the output. Thank you, ma'am. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Darshan. Actually, you what you were explaining, the way you went was certainly correct. Only thing was, see, the problem was sequence diagram and use case diagrams. It requires some time to explain. Minimum half an hour you require. Okay, at least 5 to 10 minutes overall brief to explain only you will take. That's the only reason you were finding it very difficult to explain things, because there was too much to tell and you were trying to skip things. Otherwise, you could have taken only one topic, or you could have taken more time and explained it in detail. Okay, but still you covered everything. Good try. Okay, thanks, Darshan.
Thank you, ma'am.
So who is the other person? Darshan, and who was the other girl I told? I remember only reason is I have to open my Sankirtana. Today also she is on leave. I don't know why she just simply agrees then. Guru Darshan, he is absent. Vishwajit, Vishwadit, why? Harish Kumar, Harish, at least reply what it is. Oh, he's absent. Okay. Harish Vini,
Yes, ma'am.
are you prepared, Pa?
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Are you prepared, Harish Vini?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ma. Good. What happened? Hmm. Visible, Ma.
Ma'am, is presentation
Yeah.
visible, ma'am?
Yes, Ma. Visible.
Okay, ma'am. Interaction modeling. Hello, everyone. My topic is interaction modeling. The interaction model describes how objects interact to produce useful results. All systems involve interaction of some kind. This can be user interaction, which involves both input and output interaction. Modeling systems to system interaction highlight there are two related approaches to interaction modeling. First one, use case modeling, and second one, sequence modeling. My topic is use case modeling. This is mostly used to model interaction. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, tell what happened.
I am unable to see the presentation. I should change the
You,
slide. Can you see, ma'am?
yeah, I can see. Yeah, it got changed.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am. Use case modeling. Use case modeling can be taken as simple scenario that describes a user what the user accepts by the system to do. Each use case represents a described task that involves external interaction with the system. In this use case, the use case is used in a ellipse. It can be form in the form of ellipse, with the actor involved in the use case represent as stick figures. For example, so this figure as a use case from the MHC PMS system that represent the task of uploading data from the MHC PMS to a patient record system. This general information maintain a summary data about a patient rather than data about the consultation, which has been recorded in the MHC PMS. So here use case is shown in the ellipse and the name of the use case is transfer data. Now there are two actors involved in the use case. One is the medical receptionist and second one is the patient record system. Actors could be users or they may be systems. So you can see both these actors, the medical receptionist and the patient record system, are interacted with this use case to transfer data. So this stick figures notation was originally developed to cover only human interaction, but now it is also used to represent other external and hardware system interactions. Formally, use case or diagram should not use only lines without should not only use they should be included arrows in the UML which indicates the direction of flow of messages. Use case diagrams give a fairly simple overflow of a interaction. So you may want to provide more detail to understand. So detail can be either in a simple text manner or a structural description in a table or a sequence diagram. So next one. Next, so you can choose the most appropriate formality depending on the use case. So in this diagram, you can see a tabular description of the use case transfer data, which we saw here. The same use case is elaborated in a structural tabular format, which says there are two actors, medical receptionist and patient record system. It describes the entire use case, what happens in the tabular scenario. It describes data, what is being used in use case is described, the stimulus is described, the response is also described, and the comments is also described. So you can combine multiple use cases to form a composite use cases in this diagram. This diagram illustrates the composite use case diagram. In this, one actor is doing all the five different parts. Like diagram, we have register patient, unregister patient, view patient information, transfer data, contact patient as use case diagrams. There are five use cases, all are the role played by the medical receptionist. That is, the medical receptionist is the only actor here, and there are five use cases. Every use cases is represented by ellipse by using an ellipse. So this diagram is composite use case diagram comparing of one actor and five use cases. Yes, ma'am. That's it, ma'am.
That's it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arishwini. Darshan, what was the difference? Actually, you tried to combine both the things on the same timeline. That's why you felt it was difficult for you. You could have taken one topic and taken your time to explain it. Okay. Good, Arishwini. But only thing is, why did you, what was the, I mean, you were very tensed, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. I was little tensed.
Now, tell me how many of your classmates are listening? No, none of them would be listening, okay? It's fine. You need not have to get tense, and that too when you're giving it online, you don't have to see the others' faces. You do not have to worry. As long as your presentation is proper, then you will not have to worry. Okay? Fine.
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
Next time you
Yes,
give
ma'am.
like this for another 2 or 3 times, and by later you will be like an expert. Hmm? So next
Yes,
time
ma'am.
when I say someone give presentation, I want you to volunteer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good pa. Good effort. Only
Thank
thing
you, ma'am.
is, there should have been continuity. Ma'am, I'm done. No, it is not like that. So this is what explained, or you end it. You also, Darshan. While ending it, when you start, you give, whenever this applies to all the students, whenever you start, you will tell what does it mean. And whenever you end, you will tell what are the advantages and disadvantages. Give a single line summary and you should end. Fine. And in between, whatever you have given, that does not make up. Right. See, people will listen to your presentation only if the first or 2 lines or 3 lines or the first slide is very good, they find attractive, they will listen to the complete session. Otherwise, no one will listen. So always keep it in mind that the first slide and the last slide to be catchy. Okay? Okay, guys, then. Thank you so much. Today, shall I stop it here? It's already 3:30. Fine. Next class, we will take up the others presentation. Okay, guys. Thank you so much.